Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to prepare for GRE. We have been solving GRE math problems out of this book here, the official guide to the revised GRE, the second edition. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need one. The problem that we are about to solve is the one that you will find on page number 219. Please turn to it, page 219, and today is our lesson number 295. These problems that you see there on page 219 are the exact same problem that appeared in the first edition of the revised GRE when it came out. We have already solved all the problems from this book. We're just redoing them right now. If you want to watch the original solution, you can watch that on day number 76. Problem number 2 is what we're going to do. In problem number 2, they want us to evaluate the following expression. Evaluate the following. A is a half minus a third plus a 12th. A half minus a third plus a 12th. In order for us to be able to add up these fractions, the denominator has to be the same. They have to have the common denominator, and the common denominator here the one that would qualify as common denominator would be 12. So somehow we have to make everything 12. Let's multiply this guy top and bottom by 6. So 6 times 2 is 12 now. Let's multiply this guy top and bottom by 4. So now everything is 12. So this is just 6 times 1, which is 6. 1 times 4 is 4, and here we have 1. So 6 minus 4 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, so we end up with 3 over 12. Divide top and bottom by 3, and we'll end up with 1 over 4. Part B. These are too simple, and they're too silly. Part B. Let's do part B here. Three quarter plus 1/7 times negative 2/5. Again, we have to have a common denominator. The common denominator of 4 and a 7 is going to be 28. So we take the common denominator of 28. 28 divided by 4 is 7. 7 times 3 is 21. 28 divided by 7 is 4. So we end up with a 4 on the top. So we end up with, on the top we end up with 25 over 28 times negative 2 over 5. Divide top and bottom by 5. Divide top and bottom by 5. 25 goes into 5 times, and this 5 drops out. Divide top and bottom by 2, and 2 drops out, and this becomes 14. This actually becomes negative 1. So on the top we have 5 times negative 1, which is negative 5 over 14. And there's your answer. Part C. Let's do the C on the top. Part C says 7/8 minus 4/5 squared. Again, we need to have a common denominator. The common denominator here would be 40. So 40 divided by 8 is 5, so this is 7 times 5. Minus, and 40 divided by 5 is 8, so this is 4 times 8. That gives us 35 minus 32 over 40 squared. 35 minus 32 is 3 over 40 squared, which is 9 over, well, 40 times 40 is very straightforward. You just multiply 4 times 4, we know is 16, and then we have 2 zeros. So that's it. 9 over 1600 is the answer. That was part C. Let's look at part D. by negative 8 divided by 27 over 32. Now here what they're trying to see here is, if you remember what to do when you have a fraction being divided by another fraction. And what we do is we take the bottom fraction and we multiply this first top fraction by the reciprocal of the bottom fraction. So it becomes 3 over negative 8 times the reciprocal of this thing, which is 32 over 27. That's all they're trying to see here. And the rest is very straightforward. So now we get a 32 on the top, we have an 8 at the bottom, divide top and bottom by 4, and this becomes, rather 8, and this becomes negative 1. Don't forget this has got a negative sign here, so it becomes negative 1. Divide top and bottom by 3, it becomes 9. So negative 1 times 9 is negative 9 over 4, or negative 49. And that was part D. Let's move on then to the problem number 3. That's it, we are done with this guy. As I said, do not reach for the calculator. There is no need. Part D is something that you will find on day number 77. It says, which of the following integers are divisible by 8? Listen, before we do the problem that is given in the book here, let me ask you this question. 25,136. If you're asked to divide this number by 8, there are two ways you can go about it. Listen carefully. There are two ways we can go about it. One way is to actually divide it by 8, and that's it. There's nothing novel about it. There's nothing new about it. There's nothing creative about it. That's the old ordinary pedestrian way, divided by 8. Another way is to understand that when you're dividing a number by 8, that is same as taking a number and dividing it by 2 times 2 times 2, because 8 equals 2 times 2 times 2. By the way, these words that I just used, there is nothing novel about it. Very pedestrian, very common way of doing this thing is to just divide by 8. If you're interested in improving your vocabulary as well, and the answer would be why not, you will find these words on day number 13. Just type in vocabulary words, GRE vocabulary words, and my name, GRE vocabulary words, and then Keshwani, and you will find the word novel and you will learn it. And pedestrian is something that we learned also on 13. It doesn't hurt to improve your vocabulary while you're doing some math problem. It does no harm. So, another way is to take this number and understand that dividing anything by 8 is same as dividing this number by 2 and taking the result and dividing again by 2 and then taking the result and dividing again by 2. It's the same thing. So let's do it this way first. So we're going to divide the top number by 2. How many 2's in a 2? 2 has 1 2's. How many 2's in a 5? 5 has 2 2's. The remaining 1 goes and joins the 1, becomes 11. How many 2's in an 11? 11 has 5 2's. The remaining 1 goes and joins the 3, becomes 13. How many 2's in a 13? 13 has 6 2's. The remaining 1 goes and joins the 6, becomes 8. How many 2's in a 8? 8 how many 6 becomes 16. How many 2's in a 16? 16 has 8 2's. So that takes care of 1 2. Let's go one more round. Divide again by 2. How many 2's in a 1? 1 has no 2's. That 1 goes and joins the 2, becomes 12. How many 2's in a 12? 12 has 6 2's. How many 2's in a 5? 5 has 2 2's. The remaining 1 goes and joins the 6, becomes 16. How many 2's in a 16? 16 has 8 2's. How many 2's in a 8? 8 has 4 2's. So that takes care of the second 2's. Let's go one more round. Divide by 2. 6 becomes 3. 2 is going to become 1. 4 is going to become 8 is going to become 4. And this becomes 2. This is one way of doing it. to actually do it out, divide in 3 steps by 2 and 2 and 2 and figure out. Another way to actually do it out in one shot and divide it by 8. So ask yourself, how many 8s in a 2? 2 has no 8s. 2 has no 8s. That 2 goes and joins the 5, becomes 25. How many 8s in a 25? 25 has 3 8s. 3 8s are 24. The remaining one goes and joins this guy, becomes 11. How many 8s in 11? 11 has 1 8. The remaining 3 goes and joins this 3, becomes 33. How many 8s in a 33? 33 has 4 8s. 4 8s are 32. The remaining one goes and joins the 6, becomes 16. How many 8s in a 16? 16 has 2 8s. Voila, you see? 3142, same answer. That's what we're going to do here. They're giving us 3 numbers and they're asking us which of them is divisible by 8. Let's have a go at it. We're going to do it by 2 divide those numbers 2 at a time. That's it. I keep looking here for my cup. I left my cup upstairs. I forgot, and I'm an addict. I'm going through a withdrawal symptom here. I need my tea. Okay, so here are the 3 numbers that are given to us. 312, 98, 112, and 114, 144. Whatever. So let's have a go at it. Okay, listen carefully. So we're trying to see if these numbers are divisible by 8. But what we're going to do is we're going to divide this number by 2 at a time. So by 2 at a given time. So how many 2s in a 3? 3 has 1 2s. The remaining one goes and joins the 1, becomes 11. How many 2s in 11? 11 has 5 2s. The remaining one goes and joins the 2, becomes 12. 12 has 6 2s. That's it. So that's round 1. How many 2s in a 15? 15 has 7 2s. The remaining one goes and joins the 6, becomes 8. 78. So that takes care of this part. Now since 78 is an even number, we don't actually have to do it out. We can go one more round with this, which means one round, second round, third round, which means 312 is divisible by 8. Let's do this guy. How many 2s in a 9? 9 has 4 2s. The remaining one goes and joins the 8, becomes 18. How many 2s in a 18? 18 has 9 2s. That's it, we're done. We can't divide that by 2 again. It's an odd number. That's not going to work. It's an odd number. Let's go to this one. How many 2s in 11? 11 has 5 2s. The remaining one goes and joins the 2, becomes 12. How many 2s in a 12? 12 has 6 2s. Let's go one more round. How many 2s in a 5? 5 has 2 2s. The remaining one goes and joins the 6, becomes 16. How many 2s in a 16? The answer is 8 16. And now this is an even number. This is an even number, which means we can go one more round with this guy. We can go one more round. So that's it. That's round 1, round 2, round 3. That's it. This number is divisible by 3. This number is divisible by 8. Let's do this one. How many 2s in a 14? 14 has 7 2s. How many 2s in a 4? 4 has 2 2s. Let's go one more round. How many 2s in a 7? 3. The remaining one goes and joins the 12. Becomes 12. So 12 has 6 2s. And this is an even number. This can be divided by 2 one more time. So round 1, round 2, round 3. That means this number is divisible by 8. Only number that was not divisible by 8 was this number, 98. 98 is not divisible by 8. That's all. Another way we could have done it is actually do it out, to divide them out. 98, 112, and 144, and just divide them by 8. How many 8s in a 31? 31 has 3 8s. 3 8s are 24. If you subtract 24 from 31, you get a 7. The remaining 7 goes and joins this guy, becomes 72. 72 divided by 8, how many 8s in a 72? 72 has 9 8s. That's it. You see, we did not do the last round. Had we done the last round, that's exactly what we would have found here. You see, 7 has 3 2s. The remaining one goes and joins the 8, becomes 18, and 18 has 9 2s. You see, we did not bother to do this thing. There was no need to do one more round, because we were able to see that since 78 is an even number, it's divisible by 2 one more time. We just want to see if it's divisible by 2 3 times in a row. Well, it doesn't have to be 3 times in a row, but if you can divide a number by 2 and 2 and 2 then that number is divisible by 8. You understand? Let's do this one. How many 8s? How many 8s in a 9? 9 has 1 8. The remaining one goes and joins 8, becomes 18. How many 2s in 18? 18 has 2 8s. But we have a remainder of 2. So it's 12 and 2 8 is the answer. 12 and 2 8, or if you like, 12 and 1 quarter. You see, 98 is not divisible by 8. It has a remainder of 2. Let's do this guy. How many 8s in 11? 11 has 1 8. The remaining 3 goes and joins the 2, becomes 32. How many 8s in a 32? 32 has 4 8s. Voila, answer is 14. See, had we gone one more round, we would have gotten 14. See, 12, 2 has 1, and then this one is 4. Let's do this guy here. How many 8s in a 14? 14 has 1 8. The remaining 6 goes and joins this guy, becomes 64. How many 8s in a 64? 64 has 8 8s. That's it. Again, had we gone one more round, that's what we would have found here. How many 3s in a 2? How many 2s in a 3? 3 has 1 2. The remaining one goes and joins the 6, becomes 16. How many 2s in a 16? 16 has 8 2s. You see? That's all. So these 3 numbers are divisible by 8. This guy is not. This guy is not. 98 cannot be divided by 8. That's all. We'll see tomorrow, where we'll talk about where we will start dealing with the concept of prime numbers. What I want you to do ahead of time, actually, for your homework ahead of time, is this part. I'm going to put it here. Type in this tag in the YouTube search thing. Type in prime numbers and my name, Keshwani. And especially for those of you who are a little shaky on the concept of prime numbers, and there you will find a whole bunch of videos dealing with the concept of prime numbers. Watch as many as you can. The more you watch, the more problems you do with me, the more solid your background will be, the more firm of a footing you will have during the exam. But that's what we're going to start tomorrow. We will start dealing with the concept of prime numbers. Okay? I'll see you tomorrow. Bye now.